The Nintendo Switch, which is the current console that's in the market, was released in 2017. Well, we are about to be blessed with the coming of the Nintendo Switch 2.
Okay.
And you and I both know that we are currently in what could be potentially a recession with
Yeah.
Trump's
Well.
tariff.
Yeah. Worldwide.
People are worried about their, the cost of living. Penny pinching is probably in its, would you say it's in its maximum state right now to some degree?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, our friends Nintendo are going to release their Switch 2 in June. The PlayStation community has been waiting for GTA 6 because they've been living on GTA 5 forever with all the software updates and whatnot. So everyone thought that GTA 6 was going to be like the next big moment in gaming.
So
And Nintendo,
can I ask you a
yeah,
quick question? I haven't played games for ages. The Switch is the handheld one, right? Yeah. Right. Okay.
I'm going to respect more the fact that a lot of people don't play games anymore, especially we are the Old Hombre podcast, and you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You may even own the console just because of nostalgia, but
Yeah.
not actually play it,
Yeah. That's
which
true.
often happens after you have kids and whatnot. The latest Nintendo is this one on the far right,
Right. Okay.
for anyone that's watching. So 2017. Everyone's familiar with the NES.
Yeah.
First released in 1983, original Mario. Then
Yeah.
we went through the SNES, the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
1990
Had
release.
one.
Amazing, amazing console. Then we pivoted to the Nintendo 64, which was another revolutionary one that competed
Yeah.
against PS1. Then PS1 came and kind of rocked the boat
Yeah.
with Sony creating a console that before that it was only gaming companies that really had the
Yeah.
monopoly on consoles, and Sony just turned that on its head with the adoption of CDs and making it much cheaper to release games. Nintendo made the wrong call and stayed with cartridges. Then they tried to be
Yes.
smart and they released the GameCube. And the GameCube
Ugh.
didn't have full size CDs; they had these tiny CDs. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Yep, that didn't go well. Then eventually they embraced CDs in
Yeah.
2006, proper CDs,
Yeah.
and with the release of the Nintendo Wii, which became the family console, it was
Well,
incredible.
I hit the nail on the head because it was a family console.
Yeah, it was just brilliant.
Yeah.
And then they decided to release the Wii U,
Right.
the most
Lost
forgotten
me.
console known to man. So, just to
Right.
give you reference, Andrew, the Nintendo Switch, the one that we currently enjoy,
Yeah.
has sold 143 million units to date since its release in
Bloody hell.
2017. It is the most successful console,
Hell.
and it boasts 130 million active users.
Wow.
So if anyone is thinking, well, where did I get this information from? I love this incredible newsletter that I'm signed up to. It's called the Intrinsic Value Letter, and they just get random subjects and really do a deep dive analysis with a great background story. So they're boasting 130 million active users. Guess how many users, or guess how many consoles they sold of the Nintendo U?
Nintendo U.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
Wii U or whatever they call it.
Wii U. I have no idea, mate. I didn't even know what it was until you mentioned it. We're near the 146 million. Shit, that's a
13 million
big
users.
drop. Big
What
drop.
a failure, right?
That is,
Exactly.
yeah. Well,
Exactly.
well, I mean, by any other standard or any other thing, you think if you sold 13 million units of an electrical item, you think, oh wow, that's not bad, that's great. But compare it with 146 million, that's a massive failure.
Exactly. So if you think about PlayStation, you've got PlayStation 1 hit,
Yeah,
PlayStation 2 hit,
yeah,
PlayStation 3 massive hit,
yeah,
PlayStation 4 hit,
yeah.
PlayStation 5. I'm not sure about PlayStation
I
5
don't know.
actually. A lot of people kind of tapped out. I tapped out at PlayStation 5. But so I'm not sure. I kind of pivoted back to Nintendo. But regardless, it's had at least four consoles back to back that have been bangers.
Yeah,
And with Nintendo, if you look at this trajectory, you've got one hit with the SNES, two hit with the NES. Yeah, an incredible nostalgic console in N64, but not
yeah.
necessarily the biggest hit. Failure with the GameCube.
Oh, absolutely.
Hit with the Nintendo Wii, sorry.
Yeah,
Failure with the U, and
yeah,
then a win with the Switch.
yeah.
The 146 million consoles
Massive
sold.
hit.
Yeah, so crazy. The reason why this is a hot anticipation, especially from a market perspective, is because the company has done that and it's had notable failures in the past.
Yeah,
Well, the Switch 2
yeah.
has received very split press.
Oh,
And
really?
when you think about the time that they're actually going to release this,
Mm.
it makes it even more of a social experiment, an economic experiment, and
Right,
everything experiment.
right. So I'm finding again, I'm a bit old for this sort of stuff, but from what I remember, normally these new consoles and where they get released nearer the Christmas time, so that they've got this. Yeah, this June thing's confusing me.
So you think about
Okay,
Nintendo, specifically the Nintendo Switch, all the Nintendos, they've always had their own IP that
yeah,
they lock in. They don't share any of their IP. So remember, Sega broke down, so then it started selling Sonic to anyone
yeah,
that would pay
yeah,
pretty much pay for it.
yeah,
Whereas you can only get Mario on the Nintendo Wii, you can
yeah,
only get Zelda on the Nintendo Wii. And what's really interesting about Nintendo is that they've been notoriously bad in comparison to the Xbox and the PlayStation. They've been bad at the third party games. So
right,
they focus mainly on their portfolio of
right,
winners like Donkey Kong and the nostalgic value games, but they don't offer the AAA games such as GTA franchise, the Call of Duty franchises.
yeah,
You have to opt out of that. And historically, it's been because they're always behind in the chips that they use,
okay,
so they can't support. But also, they're a bit like Netflix. They only like bangers, so they don't give a lot of software development kits out
right,
to gaming
okay,
companies
right,
unless they have guaranteed hits. Well, the interesting thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 is that it's going to have that Nvidia chip, and the Nvidia
wow,
chip
okay.
is going to allow it to have the likes of Call of Duty, potentially GTA, or games of that
So
caliber.
that's interesting. At one point, I remember not sleeping for 2 days because I was playing the game, sort of thing. And the Nintendo didn't really appeal to me because of the games. I like games where war games, fighting games, driving games, something a little bit more. I don't know,
It was
serious.
like the Disney console, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
like the Disney
yeah. It was
console.
it was all soft and fluffy. For me, it was a kiddie's console. If you see what I mean, I know they're all
Absolutely.
supposed to be.
I make you completely right. Because of that, it ages really well for about four
Yeah,
years, but
yeah,
then it starts to tail off because it just doesn't have that ongoing appeal. Because there's only so many times you can play Mario
yeah,
and different variations of Mario or Donkey Kong, where you're kind of content starved on the
yeah.
console. This is also translated to online play. So
Right,
actually, although the Nintendo Switch has 130 million active players, only 30 of them
30 million.
are 30 million, sorry, are using online
Right.
gaming.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so that's still a small. So if you think about that ongoing revenue
Yeah.
beyond just the console sales, because Nintendo's actually the only one of the companies out of the three, Sony, Xbox, and themselves, that actually sell their consoles at a profit.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is where tariffs come in, because a lot of their consoles are assembled in Vietnam
Wow.
or in
Okay.
other countries like
Yeah.
that, so that they can get the prices down. Well, with the tariff wars,
Yeah.
all of that disappears.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
gonna be, I mean, and that was unanticipated. But the point is, they're already gonna have this pressure because they're gonna have to really start thinking about how to make money online.
Yeah.
So that's one kind of little black swan event that's
Yeah.
happened that's made them pivot. So after putting that into mind, they've got a lower online base and they've still got plenty of room to actually fly with this. So they're really thinking about digital trends, how they're gonna get online. So that's the first thing that I just mentioned. Then it's all about getting these type of blockbusters. So now we're
Right.
gonna get Call of Duty potentially from it.
On the Switch
And
too.
yeah, on the Switch 2, which
Well.
is just
Okay.
phenomenal. I mean, very curious to see how that plan pans out. They're creating like the Mario Kart universe, so it's now no longer going to be just you on the road. You can actually have
Oh,
a GTA experience with it as
right.
well.
Right.
It's going to be
Okay.
phenomenal. Really building these things to have like dynamic gameplay. I've given you the background now on what the plan is. Andrew, this has taken the internet by storm, particularly in America. They did their trailer, got everyone a little bit excited, and then
Right.
came the prices.
Okay. I was going to ask about that.
We are officially on the Nintendo website.
Right.
The first thing is when the Nintendo Switch 1 released, it was about 350 quid.
Right.
Well, now the console with Mario Kart included is 429. When I first saw this, I said it's not a massive jump. It was expected. I
Okay.
factored in inflation and all that type of
Yeah,
stuff, and I thought,
it's a
all
lot of
right,
money
cool.
for me, but okay.
No, it is. It's a lot of money for a lot of people, and even myself. But you might be like, "Oh, this is my only treat of the year. I'm a
Yeah,
gamer.
yeah, fair
I've
enough.
been waiting
Yeah,
for this for 9 years. Oh,
yeah,
sod it. I'm just gonna buy
yeah,
it." But then you start thinking about the ecosystem around it. Okay, if the console is £429,
yeah,
and if you think about the differential of the game, sorry, the console by itself,
yeah,
and then Mario Kart being included within it, and it just bumping up, what, £35? Should we say £34?
yeah.
Yeah. How much do you think the games are going to cost?
Oh, about £35.
Just do a little Google for me, Andrew. How
Yeah,
much was Mario Kart 8 on the Nintendo Switch? How much was that when it was released?
yeah. It was 50 quid back in
So
2017.
50. So the console's bumped up about 50 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, I mean, I've checked it online before this episode. It's going back for 37.99. But
Okay.
the
What?
good thing is, most games were about the same price. So
Yeah,
Mario Kart 2 was the same price as Donkey Kong. They had one flat price across
yeah,
all of their
yeah.
IP because it was already their IP. Okay, so let's go into into how much the games are going to be this time round.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Go on. Well, we got Mario Kart.
The
Yeah.
physical of Mario
Oh
Kart.
my God.
It's
£75.
yeah, 99.
Bloody hell.
Yeah,
So now see that's
one game. One game, Andrew.
wow. Wow. So this is becoming very expensive.
There's the physical format. I was thinking to myself,
Right.
brilliant.
Yeah.
So then there's
I'll
an
just,
online format.
right. So I'll just
Maybe I can
download
buy
it.
the online format. Well, I
Yeah.
think the online format is only £10 cheaper. And I think about the physical. And this is the bit that made everyone furious.
Yeah.
I'm going to share some commentary regarding what they mean by a physical
Right. So
game.
basically, if I get this right, it's like you go down to, well, we used to be HMV or whatever it is. I'll have this game, please, and you pick it up, pay for it, take it home, and put it in and play.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
brilliant. Let's have a listen to this chap, Clayton Morris, whoever he is. Let's go.
Well, when you buy a physical game for the Nintendo Switch 2, there's a chance that the game will not be included on the cartridge. Yes.
Hey, what? So you're buying a physical game, but there's a chance the game may not be there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Basically, we are paying for a memory card
My God.
inside a Nintendo Switch, game
Box.
package.
What the hell is that all about?
I'll press play. Does that not look awfully like a Sony PlayStation 1 memory card?
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it looks like.
Andrew, it doesn't even have the bloody image of the game on it.
No, that's what I mean. It's just so they don't even have to pay for printing them.
All right. So let's unpack this a little bit. So now it's important to say this won't apply to all Nintendo Switch 2 games. Many of them will be complete on cartridge. And honestly, that's one of the things I love about Nintendo, or at least Nintendo Switch games, is that you're not getting these massive day one patches. Usually, when Nintendo ships one of their games, there's no download needed, no download required. It plays fully.
That is a good point.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to watch that, but that's one thing that's got them irritated. But then,
I would love to see. You know where you get those unboxing videos,
yes,
and you've got your Mario Kart, and you unbox your Mario Kart, and this little plastic thing comes out of it with no.
exactly. Now, Andrew, what's the
Yeah.
second thing that has people raging? It's the
Well,
following.
we've got the price. What's
Or
the next thing?
look at this: Mario Kart World,
Yeah,
74.99. Donkey
yeah,
Kong Bonanza, 66.99.
yeah.
There's varying prices. They've actually
They're not the
introduced.
same price, are they?
They're
Before they
not
used
the
to
same.
be just
Yeah, they're not the same price. And then just to go back to it, there's rumors that they're actually charging £10 or $10 for a training video on how to use it.
oh
They won't
my
even give
God,
you the training video for free.
no.
Um, we're talking about. I mean, let's look at this holder for the nunchucks. Just the charging grip, 29 quid.
Oh,
Controller,
they've gone
74.
down the Apple. They've gone down the Apple
Exactly.
route, haven't they?
Exactly. £50 for a camera.
That's probably the best value out of everything, to be honest.
Yeah, to be fair, like it. Look at the nunchucks, $74.99.
Bloody
It
hell.
just it 50 quid for a. In fact, maybe you should
SD
give that a little
card.
Google. Can you give that a little Google? How much is a 250 gig SD
No way.
card? A bulk standard one. Is it 50 quid?
No way. No way. How
I
much is
know,
a 250
I know.
gig?
Yeah, 250 gig.
Well, the most, you know what? They're around 20, £25.
Yeah, so this one, because it has the Mario M on it, it's
Yeah.
double the price.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
And these,
so
to be honest with you, these are, the 25 quiders are, they're not cheap generic ones. They're scan disc and stuff like that.
Andrew, thoughts on this? Can this resist? This is really a war of IP, of I can charge you whatever the hell I want because I have a hot product, versus like what will people pick? In an economic time like this, where tariffs are in place, where you're charging £75 for a game, you're going to charge another premium for the online gaming as well, so that you can actually play online. You're upselling me in every direction
Everything.
possible. So I'm gonna have to buy that £75.99 control pad with it as well, because I'm not gonna end up playing it in the nunchucks.
No.
I might end up spending in total, because I'm not just gonna have one game. If I'm spending
No.
450 on a
Yeah.
console, I'm gonna want one, two, maybe
You're
three.
you're gonna need at least two games, aren't you?
It'd be a £700
Yeah.
expense.
Yeah.
No, that's an exaggeration. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, it
No,
could be
no,
a,
no,
yeah,
it is. Yeah, no, you're right. 700 quid is right.
a seven. So if we think about that, do they have enough FU proprietary stuff and value to bypass a tariff hike, a potential recession?
So so let's have a look at this, right? So they're launching in June, where people are probably looking at spending their money on a holiday. They're launching during uncertainty, if it lands in the US, what's going to happen? And then they've gone down this model where they're going to be charging for literally everything. I'm not sure if Mario Kart Zelda has got that bigger a fan base. I know they had the 130 odd million or whatever, but I I think it was at different times. They're trying to capture the market of the people that want to play Call of Duty and those other games, right? I'm not sure that's their market. I why would you go away from PS whatever it is that you've got or Xbox and you're a Call of Duty player to go onto Switch 2 to play it? Or is a Switch 2 player the kind of person that wants to play Call of Duty, shooting people and stealing cars? Or are they the people that, want to play the cute and cuddly games like Mario Kart? And are they going to pay it? I don't know. I think it's a risky one, really big risky one.
It makes me think: did they release in June because maybe they were anticipating that December the money's just not going to be floating around?
Yeah,
That's another
could
thing.
well be. Could well be.
Be very interesting. Like, is it just a sign of things to come?